Don't you love it?
Yeah, I do.
That's so cool. And here we are. And here's Katie.
Hi.
Katie's a local Wellington actress. And we're going to be doing some hair. And we haven't fully decided, but what we're going to do is there's a bunch of pictures we looked at, and we'll just do this. So there's a bunch of little pictures we looked at, some of them different lengths and whatnot. And because we can't decide, we're going to just do this, and you're going to say stop.
All right, ready? 3, 2, 1, stop.
Wow.
Take it off.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. We'll because it's all be edited anyway. Cool. So we found a random one there. Yeah. Cool. And then there's wardrobe. So we looked at these two. Which one of these do you think goes more with that haircut? I think they both go well. What color are you feeling?
I'm feeling the pink actually.
Cool. Yeah. Awesome. So what we'll do is we'll get you changed, and you can go into there, and then you can come out.
Let's do it.
Cool. Cool. Yeah, you got leggings on and boots, but that doesn't matter because this is all upper shots anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a nice dress. Grab a seat. I think the girls are playing with this today.
The color brings up my cheeks, I'm sure.
Yeah. Look at everything underneath this one.
With a pair of those big scissors, you can just like pick it off.
You want it to go. Yeah, you're excited. But this isn't your first rodeo either. You've done it before.
Indeed.
And which one do you like better of these two? Because pink or...
Matchy or...
Well, this matches the dress, doesn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah. I never thought about it, but some people watch these channels like the capes or whatever. I don't know. I don't have enough variety of them. It's a haircut channel. It's a haircut thing. So I never bother with these.
Get some mooch going.
Yeah. Cool. We can come over and wash it.
Usually too short for these things.
Yeah. Come on over.
Pink marshmallow.
It's nice to get out there. So yeah, the first we'll do that, but we're going to use this for inspiration. So we're going to do our version of that. Because some people say it doesn't look like the picture, but also you're not her.
I'm gonna say
This becomes your version of her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's come up in the comments before. It doesn't look like the picture, but there's only one person in that picture that looks like that picture, and that's the girl in that picture.
Mm-hmm.
We're using the picture as a reference for inspiration, and we do our own version of it.
And face shape would probably make a big difference too.
All those things, yeah. But if this was cosplay is trying to replicate something, but hair, you're using it as inspiration, and you're doing it, your version of it. So that's the difference. I'm not cosplay, I'm a hairdresser.
Cosplay sounds fun.
Oh yeah, cosplay's great. Cool. airplane out there. Don't hear that much anymore.
Last time I was on an airplane was just before the borders closed.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. I'll wait for them to open these things up again. It's nearing. The world's open now. It's just using his lady mind. Anyhow. But I want to take my kids to the Gold Coast. Because I used to do that with my firstborn. We used to do that every year. And then when number 2 came along, there was a few things we couldn't go. And then the restrictions came and we couldn't go. But now we can go. So number 2 hasn't been in the Gold Coast yet.
Number
1's been.
Because they got the amusement parks.
Amusement parks and everything.
Yes.
But also a lot of the zoos and the beaches. Like, if we never go to an amusement park, I don't care. But they'll want it when they get to teenagers. But they're 7 and 3. So
They'll love anything.
Yeah, they'll love anything. So I think that there's the one zoo that's really cool with the koalas. I think the koala's named Blinky Bill.
Koalas make very interesting noise.
Yeah.
Have you heard their call?
No, because I didn't get much time up close with koalas. I've been out trying a few times now, but I never really, you have to pay money to hold them. I'm not going to pay money to hold the thing. The thing doesn't want me to hold him. So, like, what do? They declaw them and then they get paid money and you can hold them. Like, I'll look across the gate, like someone's paid money to hold it. So I'll look at that, but I just find that whole concept weird. Like, that koala doesn't want people holding him all day long. Come on. And it's like the most tame in the family. So I was like, oh, this one's pretty tame. Let's declaw him, and then the tourists can hold him, and we can charge the $100 a tourist.
It's awful.
I know. I'm like, I'm not doing that. Forget it. But the kangaroos, you can go right up to them.
It's alright. They'll box you if they don't like you.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. But they are even those things, because it's the same sort of thing. They probably find the aged, docile ones, and like, oh yeah, those are good around the kids, because they don't want kids booked over by kangaroos or whatever, or obnoxious tourists. But I can't wait to get back there. But yeah, there's a little resort we stay in which has all the wave pools and bucket, the dumping buckets and stuff like that. So it's all like outside your door, all the kids stuff and like mini golf and stuff like that. So it's all there if you decide to be lazy, not want to go anywhere in the day, one day, it's all there. But then, you can do your little day trips around the Gold Coast, up and down.
I remember going with my family.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome time.
Yeah. So
Dream World. Dream World and Movie World.
Yeah, Dream World's a big theme park. I haven't been doing it yet. But our plan was to do it every year as a family trip. But we have to put it off because of all the restrictions. So we're going to start that up again. Can't wait.
Last time I went was actually to be a support person for a friend giving birth.
Oh,
Yes.
nice.
And I also took over a suitcase full of donations for the animals that were caught up in the wildfires.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's right. I remember that. There's a lot of koalas lost their habitat and lost their lives.
That's right. So amazing people around the country sent me like kangaroo pouches, and which I took over.
I think I might spin the chair while I'm petting the back because I don't do that too often on this channel. But I can see what's going on here. Kind of a how-to. So what I've done so far is I just took that shape and rounded that corner, and then the next thing is this thing just tapers out. Oh, come on here. So we're going to do this with this. And then when I cut, I just do that kind of technique, but everyone can do a little different. Some people are gonna go full, but I want nice and soft with this. And then into there. And that creates that wedge shape in the back. And same thing towards this corner here. And here we go. So we've got a bit of texture in there, and you want that kind of rounded. Now this is the first on this channel because I haven't been doing how to. It's more like sit in the chair, we talk, I cut hair.
That looks good.
Yeah. And this is building into the same guide as the last, so you can see that. And here we go. And then you can see how that's a bit softened on those edges, not as strong, just a bit of texture through there. So that softens things. And then we're going to join this into here. Now when you're doing a graduation bob, you're going to elongate it here, but this is the opposite because we're angling it upwards. So we're going to take it over towards the point this direction. Right in there close to the ear for this one, and it goes right up there. Cool. So you can see that angles into there, and then when we blow dry that after, that'll be that nice shape there. Come around here. Oops, I did that clip on there still.
It's quite amusing watching a haircut disasters.
I love those. I love those. But I also want to just fix bad haircuts all the time. Someone like calls up and is like, I had a bad haircut, can you fix it? And then I get all excited. And they show up with this what they think is a bad haircut. And I'm like, can you think you fix this? I'm like, what's wrong with it? Like, isn't it bad? I'm like, no, there's nothing wrong with it. But tell you what, let's go to like the worst 1-star rated salon and make it worse, and then I'll fix that. So I did that with my friend once. She got a bob and it wasn't that bad. I said, let's make a video or make do a thing on that. And we ended up. I said, it's not bad enough. We have to make it worse. This is back in Toronto, so we did that. I did that before. Yeah.
I find those fringe ones hilarious. I have done my own fringe before, but
yeah,
it's really hard.
Yeah.
You can't actually see what you're doing. So.
Move it over here for a second. Oh, let's put this up. Oh no, that'll be fine. And same thing. They can see the guide, and we're at the top of the guide now. I wouldn't call this a how-to video. I would just call this a how I do video. This is just how I do it. But it's 10 different ways to get the same results, so someone else might have a different approach. And take close to the head there for that, because we're going shorter towards the front, and you can see that. So if anyone's ever done a graduation bob, it goes against everything you ever know about that, because you're pushing it close and going in towards the bottom of the ear there. see that. That's that shape there. And we can clean up the bottom a little bit. Oh, that's looking cute. So that's that kind of wig line going in there. Cool. I'll spin you around this way. And then we're going to get into the sides in a minute.
Definitely save on shampoo.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Being in windy Wellington, it's great having short hair.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had people come and cut their hair all off because they can't stand the winds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's happened before. Especially people who move here. And they're, you know, because if you grow up here with the winds you're used to, you just throw your hair up and don't think about it. But when you move here from somewhere else and, you know, you get up in the morning, you do your hair nice and you go out, and then your hair becomes a windsock, it's like, and you're like, what the hell? So I've had people come and ask for short haircuts because they're like, I've been here 3 months and I can't stand the wind. I'm like, yep. Do you want to go short? Go short. So that's happened.
I've been here about 15 years and I still not used to it.
Yeah. No, I know. I've been here 10, but I never complain about the wind because in Canada we get wind too, but it's below zero freezing, right? So that wind will kill you. Or like Chicago's a windy city too, but Chicago's below like zero, so that's going to kill you. For New Zealand, like Wellington, New Zealand is a windy city as well, but it's never below zero, so that wind, no matter how hard it blows, it's not going to kill you. It's just annoying, but it's not going to kill you.
Unless it blows you off or something.
Yeah, well, you know, yeah. There could be the odd wind-related death, but I'll tell you what, there's far more snow-related deaths. Because snow is, you know, sort of thing you take it for granted when you live there, but to be honest, there's a lot of crap can happen. These are cute little haircuts. I'm glad we keep changing our mind. And then like, oh, we'll do 2 of them then.
Just go for it and see what happens.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll spin the chair they can see. So that's that little shape there. And then into there, because, you know, like I said, we're not doing a bob, we're going to bring it up in the sides. Now we can bring it up in the sides. So I'll bring this side over. So when I started the haircut, I kind of started a little bit through here, but we're going to, because that's what I was planning ahead. But we're going to connect these two. And for this haircut, I'm not going to be cutting a line up. I'm going to be pulling it out and cutting it and dropping it into that shape. That's the difference. Like, people, if they remember they had that haircut with that strong shape because it goes snip, 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 snip. I'm not doing it that way. What I'm doing is I'm pulling it out and cutting it along that guide. And so when it drops, it falls into that shape, but it's not cut to that shape. And that's the difference between having this haircut look like a helmet or having it look like a nice soft shape that follows the contour of a person's face. So this version of this haircut is the one that becomes complementary. And then when you have, you know, like the Dutch mothers with scissors and they give you a haircut in the kitchen and they go snip, 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 snip around that shape, then it's just not going to work. So you can start to see the difference. And you can see it dropping into that shape without me going snip, 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 snip. And if it's a little bit long, you don't go in there and cut it. You just go in there and you keep texturizing it. You keep. So you can see that guy. If there's any weight anywhere, like you can pull that out, you see the weight there. You just see it. When you're sculpting, you look at it. You see it. You take the weight out of it, you drop it, you feel it, and it comes together. But it doesn't come together all in one pass. It comes together over multiple passes. And then you go to the other side and you come back here, and that's why sometimes haircuts can take an hour, where a haircut can take 15 minutes if you go snip, 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 snip. But to do this haircut properly, you need to spend the time on it.
Sounds a lot like clay sculpting.
Yeah. It's all the same concept. Any kind of sculpting. If you're sculpting hair, sculpting clay. Do you do clay sculpting?
No, I don't.
If you have a kiln, like I've had friends of mine from back home from Nova Scotia with kilns, and they do that their whole life in that. Wow, that stuff is amazing. And there's the guy up in Coromandel who has the big big operation up there. The artists up there. Can't remember the name of it. I'll flash it on the screen. Look it up. But he's got the train that goes up the hill that he made himself so that he can get the clay off the hill and bring it down.
Oh wow.
Because what he did, the story behind him was he raided a lot of like abandoned mines in New Zealand and pulled out the old rails and all this stuff so he could build a rail line going up the hill behind his, where he is, so he could get the clay off the hill. But he kept borrowing money, as you do, because an artist with a vision keeps borrowing money because they're trying to get that, in there, they gotta get this done. And without any real income coming in. So his accountant called the loan and said, you gotta pay that back. He's like, I don't have any money. He goes, yeah, but you got a train that goes up a hill. Start charging the tourists. And so he did. Yeah. And now if you go there today, it's more of a tourist operation than it is a clay operation. But it's beautiful. Me, I was fascinated with the clay. But I'll flash some things. Here I am promoting New Zealand as I do a haircut.
Coromandel is beautiful.
Coromandel is beautiful. So people watch this haircut, they're like, oh, they're getting the New Zealand government should be paying me for this too. And I bought some mugs while I was there, and they're beautiful. I still have them today. But my kids, I haven't taken them there yet because they're kind of hard in the road trips at that age, 7 and 3. But they're due for the Coromandel road trip.
Definitely. That was a favorite when I was a kid.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll get there. So yeah, you can see it's a bit weighted there, but you can see the shape coming together. So same sort of thing, just gotta pull out, work on that weight. Resist that urge of going snip, 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 so that I go take it out. You take it out by pulling it out. So you can see a bit of weight in there, that's the reason why. It's just gonna go through and do this. And there's a bit of weight there. So after this pass, it's gonna be falling into that shape even more. Now there's a diagram on the internet I saw years ago. Let's see if I can find it and post it on the screen here. I have it ingrained in my head. I don't need to see the diagram ever again for the rest of my life. But I'm also not following it to a T, but the basic concept of that diagram is true. And I'm kind of doing a version of it on this. You can put your head up and have a look forward and you can see that shape coming together. Yeah, not perfectly symmetrical yet, but that's what sculpting is. You gradually get there.
We aren't perfectly symmetrical.
Nothing's perfectly symmetrical anyway. So now the rest of this, I'm not going to do clips anymore, more of a freehand. So I'm going to go through and there we are at the crown and there's the weight and there's the guide. And there we go. And then that'll all drop and start to form a shape around you. And when everything's cut off, like short stuff, I can go back in there and just really take the shape in, refine the shape. Because right now it's just a rough shape, but also there's more hair to come off first before we get it there. So now after all this time doing this stuff on this channel, this is the first time letting them into the method of my madness. And sometimes maybe some people say, don't use these when you're cutting. I don't know.
It works for you.
Yeah, exactly. There's 10 different ways to get the same result. I like these things, like I'm not right now, I'm just get the bulk out of there. But I like these when you're going through upper layers like that and you want to take a big amount of hair off. There's your guide. And I'll go back in with the other comb when I'm doing the fine detailing. And there goes your old color, like we were saying. Goodbye. And then towards the front, we'll take that right in. So you'll start to see a rough shape coming into place after I take this rest of this bulk out. But a lot more will have to come off. So, but yeah, you can start to see that. There's one more left there. And there's a guide. Cool. But that's why I like this comb when I'm doing this kind of thing, because it doesn't have any resistance on it.
Feel lighter already.
Good. After this, the blades on this side saying that it won't be symmetrical. Yeah. I'm going to go back to the And a lot of people, when they do haircuts, especially Bob, they like to do and cross-check and cross-check and cross-check and cross-check. And someone would make a comment, it's not cross-checking. Because I'm looking and I'm visualizing and it'll all come together, but it's sculpting it into a shape over time. But it's a different concept than like the whole like slip and cross-checking. Not going to do that because then you don't get this texture that what I want for this haircut. You could do the cross-checking if it was a strong shape. This is not a strong shape, this is a texture shape. Where it drops into that shape of the haircut. I did have a comment. Someone said, he doesn't cross-check. I used to cross-check when I was an apprentice or starting out, but after years, you're like, yeah, a little bit, I don't cross-check much. I do, but not, there's some people like 20 times in a haircut they're cross-checking.
But we've got a good eye for it now.
Yeah. I will cross-check towards the end, because that's guaranteeing your work, but I won't cross-check as I go. Right? If I do, it's not going to be excessively. But you just have to look at it and feel it. And that's the difference. Isn't it fun getting your hair cut?
It's awesome.
Yeah, it is so much fun. Especially these shapes. Because and then there's way too much fringe on there. So we'll work on that a little bit. The same thing, we want to be. And a lot of pulling out as I cut, even through the fringe. And we'll have to redo your headshots when you have these haircuts. So I'll do a bunch of shots, but you can just have them and throw them in your portfolio. Because as an actor, you're gonna have a haircut, but you're gonna grow it out right away because you don't want to limit future roles, right? Your hair gets longer, and then we need somebody. But then what happens is they're like, we need someone with a little wedge haircut, and then they see one of the shots in the portfolio, like, call her, but your hair's long, but you can always cut hair.
That's right.
Right. So when you have those short haircuts in your portfolio, then you can easily go back to it if they request it. But any actor out there watching this, if you ever get a short haircut, photograph it all the time. Like if it's just a one-off short haircut, you're gonna grow back right away. Get them in your headshot.
They're quite different with a different haircut. So.
Yeah. And then of course, if your hair's long again, your main headshot's the long hair, but you show some of the short haircuts in there because someone looking for someone with short hair will go through and they come across those and they're like, yeah, that looks like the girl. Call her and say she'll cut her hair again. Yeah. And if you ever noticed Brad Pitt over the years, when he's not working, he becomes like long hair, beard kind of thing. Because if you never know what your next role is going to be, maybe they want you to play Jim Morrison. But then your agent's like, oh, we need you to be a Navy admiral, and then the hair comes off because the next role needs to be short. But not always, because he's had long hair, roles with long hair over the years too.
I should look quite like a role where I have to shave my head.
Oh yeah, some people would love that. Yeah, especially if they're going to pay you a bonus to do it. And also, if you're the kind of person who's like, oh, I totally shave my head, no problem. Don't say that, because even if you are no problem, just be like, how much if you're going to shave your head? Like, can I get an extra $5,000 to shave my head? Like, just because it take a while to grow back, or maybe it limits the role in the future. Don't be like all excited, like, yeah, I can shave my head. No, you try to get a little bit of money out of them more to do it, even if you're excited or happy to do it. But don't just be like, I'm sure, what's her name? Natalie Portman, when she was in V for Vendetta, I'm sure they had to pay her a little bit extra because it may limit a future role to do that. But I think she was really happy to do it as well.
Yeah, it really suited her.
Oh, was it ever great? So she showed up to the Star Wars premiere with a shaved head. Because by the time they wrapped Star Wars, she shot V for Vendetta, and of course George Lucas, he takes 5 years to edit the movie. So then by the time the premiere of Star Wars was, she had her shaved head. So she walked the red carpet with a shaved head, which looked cool. She's arm in arm with George Lucas with a shaved head. I think she looked amazing. And I like her little bobs as well. So now it's like the fine detailing. I'm back on the big comb again, but it's just because I want to. So when you pull this out, the guy should be like, there's a bit of bulk there. You want that angle in the sides and through the back. So you can see that there. You want that angle. So that's the geometry you're looking for. Right there. Now what I'm worried about is someone's going to watch this, get inspired and try this, and it's not going to work out, and then they go deeper and deeper in it. Because this haircut will be so unforgiving if it doesn't come together. So disclaimer, don't try this at home. No, I'm just kidding.
If you do, send us a link.
If you do, send us a link. I'm just kidding. Just don't get in trouble with it. I want people to try these things, but don't end up like your girlfriend breaks up with you because you tried this on her. I don't want that scenario. If you're really confident that you can do it, go for it. Do it. I never had a girlfriend with this haircut, but I think I probably would have liked that. Cool haircut. It's shorter when you're doing I had a girlfriend with that haircut because I gave it to her. Okay, there's still a bit of bump through there, but we're getting towards that shape a little more. And I'm enjoying this. So are you.
I am.
And I can spend, it doesn't matter, there's no timeline on how much time you take on this. And just like sculpt and sculpt and sculpt until you're happy with it. And there we go in there.
I used to have very little and fine hair
Yep.
when I was a kid.
Well, you don't now. You have lots of fine hair now. Yeah, that's starting to come together more. The problem with cutting is where the ergonomics, like I stand over here in this corner, is like this, but when I come over to do this corner, and then your reach changes. It's bad ergonomics. And I've said it before, cutting hair is bad ergonomics. You just have to be aware of that when you're doing this. But that's why when you're doing a haircut where you're like combing it out and cutting it to a line and then cross-checking, you're kind of beating the ergonomics issue. But with a haircut like this, you're kind of fighting your ergonomics a lot more. Go in there. Oh, you can hear some music out there. It's going to ruin the copyrights. I'm going to have to close the door. And I know that it's singing too. That's totally going to ruin the copyrights. This must be a car stereo. Yeah, okay, we'll take it again. Okay, I think they're gone now. They were walking by with a big music player listening to the Titanic song. And right out, just out there walking on the sidewalk, that's going to ruin the copyright. So I have to wait for them to walk past. And of course make jokes as they're walking past. It's like, oh, French Canadian. You're listening to the French Canadian. And you push your head up a little bit. Yeah, and at this point I can start to do my cross-checking. But it's not like that. Measure to a body part kind of thing. It's look, feel, and look. It's feel and look. So, yeah, that's starting to come together. Yeah, I'm happy with it. Not done yet, though. It's just starting to come together. And you're only going to keep this haircut for 5, with blow dry. Take a few pictures, and then on to the next haircut. So you spend a lot of work on something unless you want to keep it for a week and get your next haircut next week.
Yeah, I don't mind if I do.
Why don't we do that way? That way you get to enjoy this for a week.
Do that?
Yeah. And then next week another haircut. Everyone's like, "Did you get another haircut?" Like, yeah, because I'm an actress, don't you know? Yeah, let's do that way. You keep this for a week. And then you're 13, you're like, Mom, now you look more like a mom. And then you can play around with her. It's like, oh, don't you like it? I booked you for one.
I'd say she might be disappointed she didn't get to cut my hair.
Oh, there's that. Oh, that's true, because she's been cutting hair.
Mm-hmm.
Your 13-year-old's been cutting hair. We had that conversation earlier. Yeah, so she might have a good look at it. Like, who knows what her reaction to it. It might be like, oh, that's so out of style. Oh, you look like a mom. Or, oh, look, there's some cutting going on. Who knows? But, let me know next week what her reaction was. Mm-hmm. And also, like I said to you earlier, is that she's progressing. She's only 13. I'm going to say when she turns 15, if it's still like something she's interested in, she can come here and start working Saturdays. Because that's the ultimate test. Yeah, we've done that with others before. One of my clients' granddaughter, we started her on Saturdays because she was keen, or she seemed keen when you're young. But it was the same with me, like, I always wanted to hair since I was 15, but I thought I wanted to be a school teacher, so I worked at a school for a little bit, and then I didn't want to be a school teacher. But it was the same with this girl. She was awesome, really liked her, but she learned that it wasn't for her. Now she's studying to be an optometrist.
And it's really important to actually get involved and try it out.
Because you could be halfway through hair school and waste all that money and you figure out when it's not for you. Or you could be in here on a Saturday working a 6-hour, and I'm going to pay people for that because you come here and help out. And then you get a little paycheck, a little bit of money on the side, and you decide it's not for you. Cool. Didn't cost you money. You made some money. Maybe you got some new shoes out of it. Learned a few things in a salon. And then if you learn that it is for you, you learn it's for you. If you learn it's not for you, it's not for you. And then, but whatever. There's no loss for anyone. And we work you up when start with sweeping the floors, and then you can answer the phones, and then you can start shampooing the hair, and as you get better at that, you can start rinsing the colors. And next thing you know, you bring in your mom and you give her a bob. Mom's like, oh, you it. It's like, Mom, can I give you a bob? You'd be like, oh, yeah. So I'm just fishing out any kind of weight in this point. And right over. So your sides are, yep. And then at this point, just the wispy stuff at the bottom. Just get that kind of thing. And just through there. Same through here. It's in the chair, I can see. That goes back. It's going to create that soft texture we want. Yeah. We want to have this haircut like back like that. So. And that's a bit of the bulk of stuff through there. Then it comes down to the ergonomics. How long did your daughter have? She got long hair?
Yeah.
It's normal
just
for
quite
New
long,
Zealand. Yeah, it's normal for New Zealand. So she hasn't started playing around with hers, she's playing around with others.
Yeah, so she's done her sister's hair and her brother's hair.
Yeah, and her sister, it's still long hair, she's just getting a trim.
Mm-hmm.
And then with the brother, she can play around with a shorter haircut.
She hasn't taken too much off.
Yeah,
but
she's feeling it out now. Cool. So she knows her limit.
I gave her first haircut when she was 4.
Maybe that's where she gets it from.
She was,
that little home haircut and, paying attention. Because sometimes it leaves an impression. Like my mom, my grandma, I was 5 and, you're helping out her salon and it leaves an impression. And here I am, 50. And then, So you can start to see that kind of shape going on there. We're going to do the blow dry. Cool.
Yes, I gave her first haircut at 4 because she was asking for it.
Oh yeah.
And she was pretty much sitting on it too.
Yeah.
She said she wanted it to her shoulders.
Yeah. So you're like a parent like me. Like I would never give a kid a haircut unless they ask for it. Like I would do a trim if to take care of it. But my daughter's had 3 bobs, but only because she's asked for them. Mm-hmm. And otherwise, she never would have had a bob unless she had. But my other daughter, she was once else there, so she never had a bob.
My son had long hair
until
he was 2, and we went on a road trip, and he slept in his car seat
for
quite some time. Ended up with a bird's nest in the back, so.
Oh, then you get it haircut.
We had to.
But at 2, that's different though. Yeah. But my youngest daughter just wants long Elsa hair, but she likes her fringe. So she asked me for fringe trims. She likes that. And then she just wants the rest long. The other one, right now, she's got like a bit of a graduation bob, but not a 90s, like a more modern textured version of it. And she loves it. When I first gave her that haircut, she's like, oh my God, I should have just had this all the time. And she's on the trampoline shaking her head around. Because she's a jazz dancer and she competes. So, it's either up in the buns for dance school or you can have that kind of movement. She likes that kind of movement. It also means you don't have to wear it up when you're doing your dance competitions.
I actually can't stand having my hair up.
Yeah.
I think it's so annoying being long. So.
Cool. And we want the fringe a little bit longer. Like if you look at that, you could do a more, but that's for style wise, because once you push it back, it shortens on you. The fringe shortens on you. It starts to come up a wee bit. So let's do a blow dry with it now. I'll do some mousse for old time retro sag, and we're using Wellington extra volume mousse.
I remember borrowing my mum's mousse when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I think it was Bella stuff too.
Yeah, well, it's like timeless.
Mm-hmm.
Get the old German ladies. We had Bella when I was a little girl. We grew up with that stuff. But it's an old German company.
It smells nice.
It does. And Germans are smart when it comes to like technology behind things like that. And then the brushes I'm using are Denman, which are also German. But what I think I'm going to do is just a vented brush. So, not a difficult blow dry. You just go back with it. We don't want that mushroomy shape. We want that round shape, but we want to push it all back. And just with a vented brush. Just get it dry, not a crazy style.
You do like a crazy style, eh?
Yeah, I don't want to. I want you to have a wash and wear hair for the next week. Keep this haircut for a week, and you're just gonna push it back with your hands all week long. So it's real expectations. Like I'm gonna do very little, like But if you did nothing over the next week, it's still gonna look good. And then when it's dry, it takes on a different, it's different. And you can see a little bit of bulk in some areas, but don't dare go and cut on a line. Cut like that. These little things that you see. And yeah, around the ear, you get the little stubborn bits. Things that tuck on ears or whatever. Back. And there's a lot of bulk through there. And I'm going to avoid using thinning shears on it. Because you could just like fly through that with thinning shears and take that bulk right out. But no, we're just going to same rule I've been doing through this one haircut. Soften the weight line. That angle that goes outward. Soften it. Sometimes thinning shears are great, sometimes meh. Leave them alone. You do these sort of haircuts and you always feel like my grandma's looking down with a smile. That's why her poster's over there. That's from when she first opened her salon. So that's her grand opening poster. So I always have it in my salon because she's looking down on us. And when you do a haircut like this, you always feel like, because this haircut's the 70s era, and then she opened her salon in 73. So this would have been, like had I been an employee in her hair salon in the late 70s and did this haircut, you go to the back of the watch, goes, that was a great haircut, Matthew. It would have been one of those moments in the shop. She's looking down with a smile. I know she is.
when I run my fingers through it, it feels so soft.
Yep. Yeah, you haven't felt it yet.
No.
This is kind of just a fishing expedition kind of thing. So no one needs putting shoes on it. Now, if I did a blow dry with round brushes and things like that, it would take a different shape, but I like the natural of this. I'm not going to do that today. Where did my clippers go? Now, that's what happens, is people keep taking my things. There we go, that's right there. It is retro, so we're having to do some spray. You look like a completely different person.
Hey, just for who?
Oh, I know. But I've got a mirror to the back for you. Yeah, not an overemphasis on the blow dry, which I like. It's just kind of falling into that shape naturally. I like that.
It's really fun.
Yeah, keep that for a week. And let's do some after shots of it. I'll find my camera. Cool. Come on over. That's okay. We're gonna just do our little outro, but here we go. So, and while I was photographing it, I just realized who it reminds me of, and I'm gonna look up her name real quick. But the bass player from Talking Heads. Do you remember Talking Heads? Because you grew up with classic rock families. Now I'm going to show you quickly.
I would love to see.
Yeah, we'll show quickly and then we'll jump back on the camera again so you can see. And also, the girl Talking Heads, she hated her short haircut. And I'll explain it in a minute, but I'm going to show it to her. I actually like her short haircut, but come and I'll show you. Anyhow, we just looked at some shots. Yeah, it reminds me of her a little bit. Not exactly, but a little bit. But her name's Tina, and David, the singer. Now, she had long hair, and when the band was becoming big, David was like, you should get a short haircut. And when she says, I saw the interview, she goes, when David says you should get a short haircut, you get a short haircut. And she goes, I didn't like that haircut. Yeah.
I think it suits her.
I think it suits her. I think it looks good too. I think it looks good. You think it looks good. It's just her. Like she said, when David says get a haircut, you get a haircut. And then after you're like, and then all the press shots, it becomes your, your trademark image and stuff like that. But you look at her today, she's got her nice long hair. She's a different woman now, but you remind me a little bit of her. And I think that's cool. And I love the shape and feel of your hair because it's like that fine hair, we have lots of it. So it's fun to cut. And so that means you're going to keep this for a week. And next week you're going to come back. And we're going to do... same sort of thing, soften weight line and stuff like that, but with a shorter side and back. So, yeah, cool. See you next week, guys.
Soon.